So look, the richest people in the world don't work for their money because they understand that there are certain must-follow principles for success. You see, there are certain principles in business that guarantee that you print money. And I learned these by studying people like Iman, Rob Oliver, Alex Hormozy. You see, the thing is that 99% of beginners don't know them, and that's probably the reason why you're struggling to see any sort of success. But once you've learned the specific framework that's used by top-level entrepreneurs, you will skyrocket your level of success, and I guarantee you that it will 10x your income. So in this video, I'm going to give you the exact principles and teach you how to implement them so that you can multiply your income and skyrocket your level of success. Now, unlike money or other assets, time is the only asset that once you spend it, it's impossible to make it back. You'll never know how much of it you have left. What you need to realize is that every moment that you spend wasting it on low value activities or high dopamine activities that aren't benefiting you in the long run, you are effectively squandering your most valuable resource. You see, valuing your time means that you're gonna have to be way more picky, not only with who you spend your time with, but what you spend your time on. And listen, that's why I say something like planning out your days in Google Calendar and living out your calendar is going to be a game changer for most of you. You see, having something like a calendar is going to keep you accountable for the amount of time that you're spending on any sort of skill or business that you're trying to acquire. It's also going to help keep you focused on specific tasks that you have at hand. You see, once you start valuing your time more, it's going to allow you to grow and scale a lot faster because you'll be holding yourself accountable to the things that you spend your time on. That's going to lead you to being a lot more efficient and put a lot more effort into the tasks that actually matter. But that's only going to be effective if you have the ability to focus. You see, once you have the ability to focus, it's going to allow you to be able to hyper focus on specific objectives, and that's going to make it way easier for you to reach your goals a lot quickly and more efficient. So instead of having your attention all over the place, then that's going to allow you to be able to fall in something that's known as a flow state. Now, by definition, a flow state describes the feeling where under the right conditions you become fully immersed into whatever it is that you're doing. In today's world where everybody suffers from TikTok brain, with all these different big tech and social media companies competing for your attention, and being able to fall into a flow state is something that's actually becoming increasingly rare. So that's why I think that one non-negotiable that you should have into your routine is following a protocol which is known as a dopamine detox. Now, essentially, you can think of a dopamine detox as you essentially starving your brain from high pleasure activity, so that way you can bring down your base dopamine levels and you stop craving certain things. What doing this is going to cause, you realize that, for example, going to the gym early in the morning or even waking up early in the morning and taking a cold shower isn't going to seem as difficult after a while because your brain's base dopamine levels are going to decrease, thus making lower dopamine activities seem a lot more pleasurable. So essentially, you're going to go on a dopamine fast so that the tasks that you know you have to do but find so much difficulty in actually doing it are going to become a lot more easier for you to do. So you see, when you have the ability to focus, it's essentially going to skyrocket your level of productivity and make it way easier for you to accomplish any goal or get any tasks done. Now, speaking on productivity, one thing that's going to help you become way more productive and actually boost the level of success that you're going to see is understanding the power of leveraging the time and skills of other people. Now, could you imagine going to an Amazon factory and seeing Jeff Bezos wear one of the same safety suits that the workers wear, boxing and taping up packages that are going to be sent off and shit? Exactly, that shit would be ridiculous, but that's essentially what most of you guys are doing. And you could simply hire somebody else to take that task off your hand. You see, when you delegate tasks to others, you free up your own time to focus on things that I like to call high priority activities. These are basically things that drive you the most value and generate the most money for your business. But going back to the first point that I made, you could have all the money in the world or even be able to work from anywhere in the world. One of the biggest determining factors of whether or not you have true freedom is in if you have time freedom. You see, a big trap that most entrepreneurs actually fall into is becoming a slave to their own business. You see, if you look around, you realize that those vendors that you see selling on the side of the road or even the guy in the corner shop, they're all technically entrepreneurs. I think we can all agree that most of us would never want to live like that. So instead of spreading yourself thin, you can actually focus on the shit that actually matters. But you see, one of the most important things when it comes down to specializing in a skill is that you should never under any circumstances, stop learning. Now you see, the moment that you think that you know everything and you stop learning is the moment that you're going to lose your competitive edge. No matter how successful you are, you can lose the cars, the clothes, the jewelry, the women, but one thing that nobody can take away from you is what you have up here. Now I'll admit personally that I'm not even the most avid reader, but one thing I do understand is the importance of learning and the value that learning can provide. But the thing is, you don't have to necessarily read a book to be able to learn. Some people like to read or watch a video or listen to an ebook. Look, whatever your preferred method of learning is, just as long as you're constantly learning, don't let anybody tell you that you have to do it in this or that way. Now, keeping an open mind and understanding that no matter how successful you are, you can always learn more and you can always improve, not just in your business or finances, but in pretty much every area of your life. Now, in doing that, you're gonna be able to adapt and you're gonna make sure that you stay ahead of the curve. Now, just understanding these principles alone might not actually make you reach your full potential. You see, there's something else that's just as important if you want to print money in any business venture. So check out this video where I show you what it is and how doing it can actually skyrocket your levels of success.